Tinos, I'm here again, and I've learnt so much from West Coast chefs and bakers about sourdough that this is another video with Maureen doing it, showing some of the techniques. First one is before you make it, the sourdough, have a look in there if you like, starter needs to be fed twice a day. That's the first thing. And one of the things I've learned is stir with a plastic chopstick. Always stir with a plastic chopstick. And this is a new recipe. And I've started weighing things as well, you'll notice. Be impressed. All in grams, and it's 260 grams of this wonderful flour. There we go. 50 odd. So that should be 100 odd. About 2.5 cups. This is where I usually overstep the mark and have to take some off. 240, 52, no, 60, 70, right, 60, excellent. And then we add to that 100 grams of the starter, which is right here, and I'll reset my scales. It's taking too long. There we are, and 100 grams of starter going there. Nice starter as well. 112. That doesn't matter too much though. Then 276 grams of milk for this recipe. Wonderful, spot on. And, well, just slightly over. Then, something I've learned is not to get straight on with this mixture, but just to give it a quick stir with your chopstick, and then leave it to hydrate, that is, to soak up the milk before you do anything else. This recipe and technique is all about waiting rather than working. So we now leave it alone, having just very roughly stirred it in for half an hour, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, Konstantinos. We had to break into the last recording, at least we had to stop it, because Maureen got bored. So this is me making another batch of the similar products, only on my own. I've nailed my phone to the kitchen door, so we should be all right for a bit. And we start off by taking our sponge, which we made yesterday or a week ago in the original video, but we'll be all right. We'll cope, I'm sure, once I get this device working. Yeah, good. No grounds, yes. So here it is, all bubbly and delicious and ready from yesterday's effort. We need 75 grams of flour just to keep it working. And then we add some ingredients that you don't expect. So here we go. There's, well, you might expect them. I want it. So 75 grams of flour, and that will be coming up anytime soon. Yep. Now to it, we add, unusually for sourdough, some bicarbonate of soda, baking soda. That's a teaspoon, good teaspoon. It does two things. One is it gives you a more even rise, but the other one is that it cancels out the acidity and sweetens the bread, which is nice. Now, I did grind up some sea salt earlier, and we want about 3/4 of a spoonful of sea salt there, and then measure out very carefully 1.5 spoons of honey. You are exactly 1.5 spoons honey. Then just the wooden spoon handle or a chopstick, and we do a very therapeutic stirring of the mixture. Get it all mixed in. Oh, lovely, luscious stuff. And I'll carry on doing that while you go and watch a film or have a Chinese meal or something. Nicely mixed in. Going to leave it now for about half an hour just to get everything to know each other. All of these different ingredients are sloshing about, familiarising themselves with each other. So we'll let them get on with that and come back to it in half an hour. Right, Konstantinos. I would be lying if I said it was half an hour that I'd left this for. But you will appreciate that it's almost time for The Simpsons. So I've come back a little bit early, and now I will be back a little bit later than half an hour, just to give The Simpsons time. You will appreciate that. Anyway, here we go. So this has now been hydrated, is that the word for it? And is now nice and good feeling. We then take some essential bits of equipment. This is rather fine, used for plaster largely, but is my bench scraper and is really rather good at its job. So we take the contents of the bowl, and I've got a plastic spatula there which I use for everything. The builder will probably get it back after a few months. So we now take out this nice smelling. It smells. Pity you can't smell on video yet. I'm sure you will be able to sometime. And there we have it. Onto the bench. And this is pretty remarkable, really, because you don't need a machine or anything. This is really the bit that excites me. It doesn't take a lot, as you know, to excite me. bench scraper can move it around for you, you'll notice already that the gluten's beginning to form. It stretches out. Still a bit of powder we need to incorporate in there, but that's all right. And this is the technique which I love, and it's no cheating. You don't put flour on the top or anything like that. You stretch the dough out, fold it over, stretch it out, fold it over, and then stretch it out the other way and fold it over. My jumper's completely uncontrollable. Stretch it out, fold it over, stretch it out, fold it over. Do this a few times, and it begins to change its consistency, change its constitution, change its vocabulary. I don't know, it changes. Next time I'll have to take my jumper off because my sleeves keep falling down. Beautifully. Oh. And then you just scrape everything into the middle. Comme ça. Get the cling film, pop it over the top, leave it to rest for half an hour, or in this case, until the Simpsons are finished. I should really turn off the thing, but I'm covered in sticky. And we're back. Just over half an hour later. Now, seen the Simpsons, happy with that. So I covered every time we rest the dough, I cover it with cling film. And as you keep working it, the texture gets better and better, and the gluten develops, and the thing begins to hold together better and better. It's half an hour's rest and stretching and folding for a few minutes in between each rest. A bit like my life as a retired gentleman. So we rip the top off. You can see that there's lots of carbon dioxide forming. The bubbles are now racing away to the top. And what we're going to do is just stretch and fold it a few times and cover it with the cling film again. No cheating with flour on the bench at all, just working it, and you can see all the bubbles are wonderful. You can see it coming together magnificently, and stretch it out and over, stretch and over, and then putting it the other way around, stretch out and fold, stretch out and fold, and you will be able to feel the change in texture. It's no longer sticking to the fingers. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'm never quite sure whether I've folded it enough, but the professionals don't seem to do very much work on this at all. They just do it a few times and then speak nicely to it and rest. You can see the stretching and over, pulling it out, stretching it over, put it out this way, like that. Stretch it out. It's a fantastic feeling. It's very therapeutic. Scrape it all into the middle. Still there, yeah. And then over with the cling film. Rich people might use a different piece of cling film every time, but of course, being a retired gentleman, I have to be careful with my pension. And here we are. I've just had a nap. For the next stage, which is stretching and folding again. And then, after this last time, I'll go to the pub for a few hours before we finish off. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, lovely. Notice how clean that's coming off. My fingers should be fairly clean this time too. Here we go. How are you doing? All right? Lovely. Oh, you are so nice. Yeah, here we go. And stretching out over the top and back again. Stretch it out over the top. So I'm doing it this way. You can see, pulling it out and it sticks to the counter to enable you to do that, which is really rather neat. And from the other direction, pull it out, sticking to the counter over the top. Yes, lovely piece of dough. Off to the pub. Right, back from the pub. Good night. Some singing. And the dough has got some nice bubbles and things going on there. And take off the cling film for the last time and have a look at it. Looks all right to me. Here, have a look. Probably looks all right to you as well. We'll see how it goes. And some scales there so we can weigh it. Yeah, the consistency is wonderful. It's absolutely fabulous. And now we can get a bit of flour on there, flour on the fingers, because we're going to start shaping it. And before we do, same thing, stretch it out and fold it over, stretch it out, fold it over. In the clover, stretch it out and fold it over and do it again. And not too liberal with the flour. but enough to, and you can feel bubbles, big bubbles of carbon dioxide in it, so you know it's been working while I've been enjoying myself. Fold it over, stretch it, fold it over, and then you've got various choices, because you can, at this point, if you wish, pull it to tighten it, with all the folds being at the bottom, pushing the uneven parts underneath, tightening the skin on the top. Fantastic. And that can go into loaf tin, go into a basket to prove it's really quite a lovely thing. But what we're going to do with it is make some muffins, or natives in North American areas call them bannocks. So if we stick on the scales, come on, come. And grams, 5 grams, there's 802 grams there, which is, we make 10 muffins, will be, let's call it 80 grams for each muffin. Now what I'm going to do is chop it up into 10 chunks and then come back to you, because you don't want to be watching me do that. So we now have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 roughly equal bundles of this beautiful dough, and this is so nice. What you do is give each one form and substance by tiny little dough parcel, which is, there it is, and you stretch and fold it still, tiny little dough. Pull it up and over, and then the other side up and over, and then this side up and over and up and over, folding it over in each direction, and then make a little round with it like so, and then pulling it and stretching it into a nice ball, pulling it along the top here. And that is a gorgeous little round ball of sourdough. And here's another piece. Pat it flat. You can use flour now to stop it from sticking, although it's not so inclined to stick as it was before. And fold, 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 over, make it around, pull it along, and you can make bread buns with these, and that would be fine, but we're not going to do that. We're going to make bannock, or sometimes it's called English muffins. Over, 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 you're lovely. And round, and stretch, and stretch, and that's 3. And I won't bore you with the rest, I'll be back. Alrighty, I have this grill thing, which is on quite a low temperature, and I cook these muffins on each side for about 7 minutes. It seems to be just right, and I pick them up with my wonderful plastic bench scraper. Here comes the first one. Pop it on and risking life and limb. I'll press it down again because it's still trying to keep its original shape. 2. I find that 5 is just about enough on these grills. As I say, you can use a frying pan just on a relatively low heat. That's the number 3. Number 4. Number 5. And I'll turn the timer on for 7 minutes and then we'll come back and have a look. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but they are beautifully risen. And the next step, the timer's just gone off. Is just to oil the other side. You oil the bread, not the skillet. And then pop them over for 7 minutes. And they have an absolutely lovely height, these muffins. And they end up with a very soft middle and a beautiful crust on either side. I like them to be quite dark, so these are quite dark. If you want them a bit lighter, then just cook them for a bit less. And when you open one, here's one that I made earlier. If you use a fork on the edge to cut it, then you get all those lovely bubbles opened up, fantastic texture, which you can then toast and butter. And it is a lovely thing. It's just grand. So that will now go in the toaster and I'll have it for me tea or supper. What meal would it be at 1 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. Like that.